So if you're trying to build something, you have built something and it hasn't gone the way that you've hoped, I get it. This video is about failing. This is about when things haven't gone the way that we planned and what we can do about them. And the one thing that I know that you will leave with after this video is feeling like less of a failure, feeling differently about failing, and also wanting to try again. That's the biggest thing that I think is the most important thing about this vlog, making sure that you leave feeling like you can try again. So let's get into it. I'm excited because I'm going to share with you all the times I failed, but also where it's led me and how I'm so much happier now and why you're going to keep going, because you'll get there too. Okay, so let's talk about the first thing I failed at, because I tried to build a system based on content. I was building printables. I had a coaching membership, and I also tried to build a mental health app, which is like my most recent one. And the thing that I did that I really failed with on all of those fronts is I built businesses that were very content heavy, and it was very heavily mental health based content. And I realized that I didn't have the capacity to offer that. I wasn't in a stage of my life. I just had kids, and I wasn't in a stage of my life where I could actually constantly give from that emotional place and sustain it. So if you're trying to get a bit of direction, not sure where you want to go, I'm going to link another video here where I talk about the 4 questions I ask myself to help me get really clear. And also, if you want to, if you have an idea of the direction that you want to go in, then another really great video that I found really helpful and share a really important question is about the types of products we can create and how to make a choice around where you're at in your life, and then to create a product based on that as well. So those are 2 resources I have as well. But anyways, back to the principles, the content. Recognizing that content heavy, emotionally based content was not sustainable for me. I made money on the printables. I made some good money, and then I think it was about 5 to 10 grand. Then lost it all because I'd spent it all on ads. I paid for this really expensive Google Ads course thinking I was going to do it, didn't do it, because I ended up stopping the printables because I realized that I was selling them for $17 to $20, but they were taking me over a month to create, and I had to keep churning them out, right? Because people wanted new offers, and realized that the stage I'm at with 2 kids, at the time I only had 1, but either way, wouldn't have been sustainable. And I didn't want to get other people to do it because I knew I would have to be very involved in that process, because that's just how I am, right? That's the work that I want to do. I didn't want to do mental health content and outsource it. That was just a personal choice. And then the second thing I did again was in memberships. This was based around grief, and I tried another one based on self-development. That one failed, but the grief one, I had a couple of people join, and I realized again, content heavy involved a lot of me constantly engaging. I couldn't maintain that with kids and constantly dipping into grief, which is something that I have experienced. I lost my brother to brain cancer in 2018, and I just couldn't maintain that. So I stopped that as well. Then I did the mental health app, which again, content heavy, but didn't realize, thought it was an easier thing, ended up being even more work to create content scripts. It was like mini audio sessions to support you in tricky moments, right? So think if you're having anxiety come out out of nowhere, or if your grief's really come up. So I created and spent a lot of money, $10,000 on this app, right, to build it out. It took me 1 year. I learned flutter flow. I did this whole course on how to build, and I learned so much. So I have to admit, my skills in terms of building, understanding how to build things, even with AI, I use Replit now to build software, but still learned so much from that as well. So then I realized again, I'd done the exact same thing. Content heavy, really dependent on me creating that content, didn't have the emotional capacity for it, still really hadn't learned. And at this point, which was not that long ago, guys, I'm talking a couple of weeks ago, I had felt like I'd really failed because I tried so many things and I just wasn't getting any traction. I had been posting for over a year, getting absolutely no traction, and couldn't figure out where I was going wrong. So I really felt like I was failing. But in the midst of all that, as I was still trying to figure out the app, so let's rewind a bit. As I was trying to figure out the app, I was trying to create content to promote the app, and realized that the process of creating content is quite involved, right? And I was like, okay, there must be a tool for this. And I couldn't find one. There's a lot of schedulers out there, but there's not a lot that actually helps us manage our content in one place. I'm talking all our scripts, all our reel scripts, YouTube planning, everything. I wanted to be able to have an idea, put it into a piece of software, and track the whole process of it, which was repurposing the idea, making it become a reel, a vlog. I wanted to be able to track the entire process. So I created this software on Replit, realized how much I loved creating software, realized the difference between creating an emotional content-based business versus a systems-based software business that really is about, creating systems, cutting overwhelm, helping people to automate their business processes, right? That's really what it's about, okay? Because content is part of marketing, isn't it? And it was also about being a solo creator. I've got an editor and that's it. I couldn't afford a whole team. So I needed to know where my idea was and be able to communicate both to myself and to my editor where I was in that process. This system I created, I should say, now shows me where it is in the process, whether it's being created, like I need to record it, whether the video editor's editing it, and then when it's ready to post. Now, it's not a scheduler, it's just a content planner. So I felt like this just was so great. It taught me so much. And because I learned so much from the previous businesses about what I could and couldn't do, and what I was able to do at this stage of my life, I feel like all those failings really led me to this place. And I am so happy, guys. I have loved building systems on Replit. I'm building a goal planner as well, something that's like a little bit of goals, a little bit of manifestation, like in between, something that's like still grounded in everyday action. So I'll give you a sneak peek of that too. But it's just about the fact that it was all my failings that got me here. So if you are right now in a place where you feel like you have failed and you're like, what have I done? What have you learned? And where are you going next? Because I feel like that is where it is at. If it wasn't for me trying to create this app, I would never have landed on building software, never have landed on trying to figure out this content system, which I think is great. I really love it as a content creator myself. You know, this was built from me as I'm doing the process. So I think that every failing becomes a learning curve that takes us into the next spot. And that's exactly what I feel like has happened to me right now. And sometimes it takes us into like a slightly new area, or sometimes it takes us into a whole new direction, like it did with me when I went from like Printables to the app, or when I've gone to a completely different area, but only because of those previous experiences, right? So what have you learned, and what are you going to take with you, and how are you going to do things differently now? Because failing is part of the game. And this is something I learned from Adrian Portelli. He is someone from the area that has done extremely well. He's a billionaire, but it wasn't about that. I went to hear him speak, and he said something which, okay, it's odd advice and he said it, but I reframe it. So he's got this, obviously, as a male, and again, I'm not suggesting that this is the best attitude to have by all means, but I want to be really honest about the experience that I have. He said, if you ask 100 women to sleep with you, one will eventually say yes. And he said he thought about that in the same way as a business sense. He said, if you try 100 businesses, eventually one will work. So this is one of your 100 businesses, guys. That's how I'm saying it. I'm just going to keep figuring it out, keep trying and keep going until I land on something that works. And I just wanted to create this video to remind you that you're doing the same and that you're not alone in it, because I'm doing it too. And we're going to do it together. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep trying those 100 businesses, and we're going to figure out the one that works. So this isn't the time to give up. It's the time to figure it out. It's the time to take all those amazing learnings that you have to figure out your next step, and to know that this is actually what it looks like. And that's the one thing I got from him as well. He talked about all the things he'd failed, how like the tough experiences he's had. And when I actually went to listen to him speak was when the printables stopped working. And I remember thinking, it's just me. Like, this isn't for me. I can't do this. It's me. There's something wrong with me. This is why I can't do it. And that's a challenge with social media as well, right? We see all these people making these amazing moves. No one talks about how long they've tried. And so this is why I wanted to create this video, because I've tried for ages, guys, and I'm still going, and you're going to keep going too. We're going to do it together, because we're doing our 100 businesses. We're learning from everything that we do, and we're taking it into the next step forward together until we figure out something that works, both for our capacity and also financially, of course, and also for our meaning, our sense of meaning, our sense of purpose too. So yeah. So you're still on the path, and that's okay. And this ending is going to be a reminder. This is not the end for you. If you are here and you have failed at something, it's not the end. It's part of the journey, and it's not the end for me, and it's not the end for you, and we're going to keep going. So comment below. I'm going to keep going, because you're going to keep going and you're going to keep figuring it out. Share something that you've learned as well from something that you've maybe failed at recently or ages ago. Share how it's turned into something. Let's encourage each other here. Let's just really encourage ourselves by being honest about how hard it's been, because I don't know, that's just what keeps us human, and that's just what keeps us going, right? Hearing other people's journeys and going, right, so it was not that easy for them either. So it's not that it's me, it's just that this is hard. And that's really what I got out of the conversation with Adrian Portelli, and something I really wanted to post about today, because keep going, guys. You don't know where we're all going to be in a year's time. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next video.